Nelson, are you there? Okay, I see it says Nelson started recording. Okay, great. So I'm going to kick off the session now. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for making the time to attend. This is the introduction to PMI's Agile Hybrid Project Pro offering. I hope you will find it useful. I hope you'll find it exciting. I want to say thanks in advance to Ranjit and Samantha from the Agile Hybrid team. They will be giving the details of the product. Especially Samantha, she'll be leading this product showcase. So without much further ado, I just want to do a very quick introduction of PMI for those who are not very familiar with PMI, and then I will hand over to Samantha. So to start off with, very quick introduction of PMI for those who are not familiar. So PMI is a not-for-profit organization. What we do is we provide project management training and certification to people and organizations around the world. As you can see there, we're a global organization, as you can see from the slides. A global organization with over 1.6 million certifications. We're present in almost every country in the world, and we have over 300 chapters around the world as well. What is very important to PMI are our volunteers. Many of you on this call are volunteers as well. Volunteers are professional individuals or professional project managers who are really passionate and interested in using the project management discipline to make an impact wherever they are. And the volunteer ecosystem is absolutely critical to PMI. We work with over 200 organizations around the world, helping organizations to make reality. That's what we like to say. Make reality is helping people and organizations make an impact, move from A to B, whether it's, building a toy or building a bridge or building something even bigger. We like to support or help people and organizations to have the tools they need to implement or to build or to execute whatever it is that they're focusing on. In terms of chapters, for those of you who don't know, a chapter is an independent legal entity that's been set up in a country by the same volunteers that I just mentioned, and the chapters are set up again to make an impact in their local community or in their country. We execute our training through our training partners or ATPs, authorized training partners. Again, we might have some ATPs on this call as well, and our partnership with trainers or ATPs is important because this is how we help to train and inform those people who are making an impact around the world. In Africa, we have over 11,000 certified professionals, as well as over 10,000 individual members. We have what we call the Pulse of the Profession Research, which is an annual survey that's carried out. And out of that survey is a report or a research report that's created, which gives a country-by-country breakdown of some of the interesting trends that are happening in those regions. So for instance, when we look at Africa, the report tells us that 62% of organizations in Africa have a PMO, which is interesting. And for me, it's actually quite a positive thing because it's on par with the global average. As well as 64% of organizations in Africa having ongoing training for staff. And obviously, ongoing training is critical for individual and company performance. And then the final data point that you can see there is that 30% of your budget is lost if your project fails. So you want to make sure you do everything possible to ensure that your project does not fail. In terms of PMI resources, what do we offer? Who are we? I'll split that into three buckets. So on the left there, you've got learning and professional networks. In the middle, you've got certifications. On the right-hand side, you've got standards and digital products. I'm not going to go into all these detail, but on the left-hand side, learning and professional networks, we work a lot with the universities and secondary schools to help to provide content for professors and lecturers, and then also certifications for some of the students on some of our early level certifications. We also have the pulse of the pulse of the profession research, like I mentioned earlier, and we do a lot of thought leadership. So thought leadership is, using our expertise to deep dive into areas such as disruptive technologies, agility, and various other specific content. We have the projectmanagement.com, which is the largest community of project managers in the world. We've got the Education Foundation, which is about mentoring youth and young professionals. In the middle there, we've got certifications. Many of you know our flagship certification, which is the PMP. And then we also have our Agile certifications and many other certifications as well. Obviously, we're talking about Agile Hybrid today. And then on the right there, you see standards and digital products. Many of you will know the PMBOK guide, project management body of knowledge. And this is where a lot of our research shows up in there. And many organizations and individuals use the PMBOK guide as their own guide for project management knowledge and the discipline as a whole. And then we've got digital products like Snippets, Navigator, Kickoff. Snippets is about bite-sized learning. Navigator is how do I navigate my career. Kickoff is learning project management in 45 minutes. And then we've got Projectified and Center Stage. These are podcasts, really, really good podcasts. I actually listen to them myself on a regular basis. And then, we've talked about upskilling, but, like I said, the Pulse of the Profession research looks at organizations around the world and looks at some of the impact. And as you can see from the slide there, one of the learnings that comes out is, and this might be obvious, but it's, organizations that are mature from a project management perspective perform better than organizations that are not mature. What does that mean? That means that organizations who invest in their staff, organizations who invest in individual learning and development end up performing better in terms of delivering projects on time, within budget, within scope, reducing failure. On all these metrics, perform better than organizations who do not invest in training for their staff. So with that being said, again, welcome to everybody. I'd like to introduce Samantha Mulford, who is going to talk about the Agile Hybrid certification. Just very, very quickly to bring in Samantha into the conversation, I'll just read her profile. So Samantha is a micro-credential product specialist for PMI. She holds a master's degree in education and instructional technology, and is passionate about developing e-learning experiences for PMI members. Samantha is an innovative global security education management consultant and professional development specialist in quality e-learning programs and curriculum development. I'm going to post her LinkedIn link in the chat so that you can connect with her directly if you would like to. So Samantha, welcome to the session. I will now stop presenting and hand over to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, George. And thank you, everybody, for this wonderful introduction. And I hope I'm not getting that feedback as much as you are. Sorry. Seems like there's a little bit of feedback.
It sounds clear from our side.
Perfect.
If you're not speaking, please go on mute if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, can you see my screen? The presentation?
Yes.
Perfect, thank you. Again, thank you very much. Thanks for that wonderful introduction. And welcome to our product showcase on micro-credentials. In specific, we're going to be speaking today about Agile Hybrid Project Pro. So I've got 4 points that I'd really like to cover and discuss. First, why was AHPP introduced? Then
Samantha, sorry, before you go into details, sorry to cut you there. Do you mind going into presentation mode so that we can see the slides on full screen?
Can you see that now?
Perfect, yeah, thank you.
Sorry, thank you. Okay, and the second point is obviously the content of the micro-credential, and what I'd like to do is specifically go right into the e-learning course itself and share a little bit about the information, give you a real taste and a feel for what that experience is like. Again, discuss the e-learning and the assessment, and then discuss what we're doing as far as our soft launch. Why was AHPP introduced? And how can Agile Hybrid Project Pro help you and your team? This micro-credential, and I'll get into that specifically, what that means, is an upskilling tool. It'll help project managers demonstrate their ability to manage Agile or hybrid projects. If you're familiar at all with PMI and the extensive research that we do on products, we researched exactly what our audience members were looking for in an e-learning experience and found that a lot of project managers need some more skill development within Agile and specifically hybrid projects. So this micro-credential was developed in order to showcase that a project manager stays currently aligned to the latest project management principles, such as what we have in the new PMP. Agile Hybrid Project Pro is the only hybrid credential currently in the marketplace. And again, like I indicated, our market research indicated that project managers spend at least 50% of their time on Agile hybrid projects. Oops, sorry. There we go. So the content of the micro-credential itself. This is where I want to really showcase and really help identify the difference between a micro-credential and a certification. As George beautifully presented in some of his earlier slides, we are part of the certification team. And I wanted to really give that distinction between this micro-credential and the other certifications, such as a PMP, that we offer. This credential certifies your achievement in a specific skill set, knowledge, or competency. It's very focused on relatively new topics, in particular, obviously, Agile hybrid in this instance. The distinction between a micro-credential and a certification is, in this case, in a micro-credential, you are not required to collect PDUs to renew, and the micro-credential doesn't expire. You can, however, earn PDUs to apply towards your other PMI certifications, such as your PMP. And in this case, this micro-credential, you can earn 13 PDU credits. Again, they can be used towards supporting your other existing PMI certifications. And just over here to the left, we just finalized our new badging system. So this is the achievement badge and what it would look like when you earn that micro-credential. But let me tell you a little bit more about how you do that. Who's eligible? Current PMP certification holders who wish to align with the new PMP standards, project managers that want to demonstrate their hybrid expertise, project managers who are beginning to venture into Agile or hybrid space and just want more skill development there, and others who want to perhaps prepare or study in a different way for the PMP. When we look at the structure and the content outline, it's very similar to how our other certifications are designed. There are domains specifically designed as the high-level knowledge area. So that's the practice of project management. It applies and it's essential. There are tasks and underlying responsibilities that the project manager has within each domain area. Again, when I share with you a little bit about the course itself, you'll be able to see how that structure works. And enablers, examples of how the work is associated with the task. So in this instance, the task statement is we're managing conflict. That's one of the domain areas. These are the enablers that you'd have to do. And then I wanted to really showcase also the exam content outline, along with the e-learning course, which is intended as a study and a preparation. We also have an exam, and it's part of the full package. As in any instance with PMI, we're specifically relating the exam to these content areas: people, process, and business environment. These are the three areas that are covered, and obviously I'm not going to read through everything, but everything that's listed here are topics that are covered within the course, obviously, that are applicable to when you take the exam. And I'll also get into the exam details a little bit later on. Here's at the point where I'm going to see if I can toggle back and forth between. This is an actual screenshot of the course itself, how it's set up in our new LMS. There are 19 modules. You can see those listed on the left-hand side. And each module begins with its own scenario or video. So let's see, back and forth, and I can share with you the actual module. So here's the module I'm going to go ahead and showcase. As you're in the LMS, and I'm not going to give you the whole walk back through, but if you do have a PMI profile, this course, once you purchase it, would be available on your PMI profile. And you have a course library, an e-learning course library, where you'd be able to access the course. After the course is completed, then the exam again would be part of the course, but you would be patched through to a Pearson VUE portal. It's important to note that you do not have to apply like you would with other PMI certifications, and it is an unproctored exam. So these are great features and value propositions for this product. No application, because a lot of people have, when they go to apply for a PMP, it's extensive. This does not require that. And then again, when you have your exam at the end, there's an unproctored exam. So you can take this in your own time, in your own comfort of your own home. But again, I'll get into a little bit more details later. But here's the course itself. You would begin, and at the beginning, you have a mission statement. So immediately you're taking the task that you've been asked, and you're asked, okay, here's your mission. I'm not going to go ahead and show the videos and everything, but there's a short video that introduces the mission, and it kind of puts you right into that scenario. So it's very relevant, and it gives you a real feel of what a real project would look like and feel like. I'm going to go on to the next screen. Then we explain the steps, and this is really like your objectives. What are you going to learn? These are the things that you're going to need to understand in order to fulfill this project scenario. There's a task overview. It gives you all the tips and asks you all the questions. And here's my favorite piece as it pops up. It's going to ask you how to make relevant decisions that are real time, that are applicable to this particular scenario. This little tip here pops up, and I loved it because I always call it email a friend. It's a PMP tip. So it just gives you little tips and little information about what you should be focused on when you're taking this course. Again, it's very immersive. It takes you through a journey. It's like an adventure, but obviously it's a scenario based on real-time project management. And then it gives you your task. It'll ask you, this is the thing that you need to do. You're analyzing your communication needs for your teams. The immersive feature of this particular course gives you everything you need. So there's tools and techniques. It's going to give you all the information about the requirements that are needed. And you can scroll down, lots of information, gives you the templates, gives you the actual real relevant reports or templates for what you are going to need in order to complete this task. Then you have your deliverables. It'll explain exactly what everything is. So in this case, we need a communications management plan. It describes it. It gives you every detail, again, that you're going to need. Then there are additional resources. In this case, I'm not going to go ahead and click it. It links out to a lot of additional resources. We found when we tested this product, a lot of people realized that, okay, I can complete the course in probably 6.5 hours. But if I really engaged and immersed in the product, there's at least 12 hours of resources that are embedded. So there's, again, every resource you need right at your fingertips, embedded right within the course. I'm going to go to next. Now, of course, when they've given you your task overview, helped explain all the resources that are necessary to be able to engage in this, now we're going to quiz and test people. And this is where the true interactivity comes in. We've got a lot of interactive questions that are embedded within each task, and they come in different formats. So in this case, it's a bit more of a multiple choice. So I'm going to select an answer, submit my response. I got lucky that time. It says I got the right response. The beauty of this is you'll also get feedback. So instead of continuing, what I'd like to do, actually, I'm going to go back. We'll go on into the next question. But again, you saw the little phone a friend tip pop up. That's, again, lots of features, lots of interactivity, things to guide you through the process. I'm going to move to this. So again, the next task, clearly communicated, a lot of reading to be able to go through, steps which you need to understand, your tools and techniques, deliverables, resources. Let's see if I can answer another question differently. So I'm going to answer this question. Again, we're asking you to test based upon this principle right here, and then asking the question. You can always go back and review if you're not sure. Submit. In this case, I'm on track. And again, the feedback is specific to the response. If I wanted to try again, let's see if I can get a different response to pop up. There we go. Super. I got the right response that matched that answer, and I'll continue on. There are a lot of different tasks embedded within. I'm going to just try and see if we can get to the end. Submit your response and continue. Again, I love that little phone a friend, but it does become a little bit like, hey, here I am. Pay attention to me. Lots of questions, lots of tasks. And then when I've completed all the tasks and I've used all those resources, it tells me that I have finished the module. Our mission is complete. And again, it does a recap of all the things that you've learned. So the objectives that are embedded within the course, it recaps exactly what you worked on and the topics that you understood. So you can check these off if you choose to and exit the course. And that's really exiting the module, and you can go on to the next module. That's just a little brief overview of exactly what this course looks like, given the scenarios, given the e-learning. And again, it's interactive, it's engaging, it's immersive in real and relevant project scenarios. So I'm going to see if I can pop back to our presentation and pop us in presentation mode. Sorry. And move on to our next slide. I apologize. There we go. So as I expressed, in each of the modules, you've got a mission statement, you've got a task, and then you go on throughout the course, throughout the 19 modules, throughout your e-learning experience. So e-learning and assessment. As I mentioned, the course itself takes about 6.5 hours to complete, 12 hours if you want to immerse yourself in all of the resources that are available to you. You will achieve 13 PDUs to apply towards your current PMI certifications. That is applicable in this strategic manner: 5 technical, 4 leadership, 4 strategic. And at the end of your e-learning, you will be awarded the badge. The badge comes after you've completed the course and the prep study and the exam. It is the achievement badge that you are awarded at the end. Let's focus on the assessment now, because I spoke about it a little bit earlier. Again, the exam is online. It is not proctored. It is part of the course in itself. When you purchase the course, you get the exam as well. And again, once the course is there in your course library, in your profile, you take the course. After you've completed, then a button will pop up and it says start your exam. The exam, there's a limitation on the exact exam. There's a time period for you to be able to take it. It's important to distinguish that the course itself is retained in your course library. You can go back and have access to that at any point. The exam needs to be taken within a 24-hour period as soon as you click on it. So it's important to note that when you're ready to take the exam, take it right away and engage in that immediately. And you will know instantly that you have gained that credential and that you've passed your exam. If by some chance you do need to take a retake, there are retake exams available, at least 3. And you have a period of time in which to engage in that retake experience. I can go over a lot of those details, and we have an FAQ available that I'd be happy to share with you as well, along with the slide deck after the presentation, that could answer a lot more questions, but happy to answer questions at the end if you have some. The assessment itself is 60 questions. 75 minutes long, so they give you ample time to be able to answer the questions. There is a preparation video at the beginning in order to help you understand how to take an online unproctored exam with Pearson VUE, so that's part of the experience. These are multiple choice questions and very situational based. Some have long descriptions to introduce situation, so it does take a little bit of time to read. But given that it's an unproctored exam, we want people to understand that it is not an open book assessment. It's moving quick enough that you should know the content. And again, that's why you engaged in the e-learning courses, the part of the experience initially. Prerequisites, as I just mentioned, you're taking the course. We took a little deep dive into the course. Then there's the online assessment, and there's some reference materials also involved. As far as the experience requirement, we would expect that most people engaging in this particular micro-credential would have at least 1 to 3 years project management experience. So it's pretty in-depth information, and the concepts that are covered are obviously project management based. So to have a developed understanding of project management techniques and principles is pretty important in order to engage in this course. And our soft launch, we are currently looking forward to and very much anticipating this launch next month. We're very close. We're currently in our pilot launch phase, and we are offering a 30% off discount in order to obviously encourage participation in the product, but currently we're in the pilot launch phase. We also have an Agile Hybrid Project Pro webpage, and I would be happy to share that landing page with you also. So I also have an email address. If you'd like to contact Micro-Credentials specifically, please use that email address to contact us, and we'd be happy to share the product with you and discuss it further. And I am at the end, and I would love to answer any questions that anybody has for us.
Just before we dive into the questions, right, just want to add on to what Samantha just said about the exams. The exams this is a new style of exams from PMI. These are going to be non-proctored online exams, and you don't have to schedule them at all. So what that means is when you are ready, once you finish your course, you're ready to take the exams, you can take your time, choose a time, sit at home. You just need a good internet, and you can go ahead and take your exams online. So it's different from the current experience of all PMI certifications. This is less robust because these are micro-credential product lines. You don't have to schedule. You don't have to go to a center. You can just take the exams from home. Just wanted to add that in. Thanks.
Thanks, Ranjit.
That's great. Thank you so much, Sam. If anyone has questions, please do put them in the chat. In the meantime, I've got a few questions that I've collated myself. So the first question, Sam, is from your point of view, when your team was developing this product, do you think it's best suited for people who are existing PMP holders or people who are not existing PMP holders?
That's a very good question. We're asking, obviously, those that have a PMP to upskill, to showcase their Agile hybrid skills, and to develop that understanding. For those that had the old PMP, I shouldn't say old new, but obviously we're changing the PMP, we're updating it. But those that have held their PMP for at least 1 to 3 years was really the focus. But also we're looking to engage people who maybe don't have a certification, who are looking to just gain a micro-credential. They don't have to go through the full process of applying for a certification. This could be an entry just to be able to go in, understand Agile hybrid skills, and be able to showcase that achievement. And then they could go on and earn their PMP. So either way.
Okay, can I add to that? So what we found in our research is that we found around 46% of organizations, right, around that region, 46 to around 60%, actually the upper limit, organizations are still sort of in the hybrid space, right? They're not completely waterfall, they're not completely agile, and they're in the hybrid space. So this is a credential for those project managers who are primarily working in those hybrid project management space, where you want to showcase saying, hey, I know how to do waterfall, I know how to do agile, and now I also do know how, what are the best methodologies or what are the best practices of hybrid project management in the industry. right? So this is a credential that which will help you to showcase those skills as well, apart from the upskilling what Samantha addressed.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Ranjit. So it sounds to me like there's a benefit, but for both. The benefit for the existing PMP holder is that they essentially transition from old PMP to new PMP, and the benefit for the non-PMP holder is that this is the step or the path into the agile hybrid world.
Yep.
Okay, great. Oh, that's good to hear. Just a reminder, everyone, feel free to put your questions in the chat. So, how do people get started?
I can send you that landing page link. That would probably your best entryway. It gives you a snapshot in particular, and I can actually pull that up right now. It gives you a snapshot overview of everything that's involved in the course. It'll give you that link, and it'll also give you correct start. It's where it says get started. You can click straight through to be able to purchase the product. So
okay, that's perfect.
I'm going to bring that up on screen right now.
Sorry, say again?
I'm going to bring that up on screen so that I've got that. You can see that. Okay,
perfect. So we actually have the same question from two people at exactly the same time. It's related to the ACP, the Agile Certified Professional. So the question, I guess the overall question is, what is the relationship between this Agile Hybrid Pro and the ACP? How does a micro credential help in case one decides to go for the ACP? Is there any requirement relationship between this and the ACP?
Looks like Ranjit froze. I was going to let him take this.
Right.
Sorry.
So you want me to take a question? Sure.
Yes.
Yeah. So primarily the difference here is in the target audience, right? For ACP, it's more in terms of Sam. Would you mind not sharing the screen?
Sure.
Thanks. Yeah. So the difference is primarily in the target audience. Now for ACP, you are in the Agile space already. So you're working in an Agile organization, you're a thorough Agile professional, your day-to-day work is in the Agile world completely, right? So you are already in the journey of ACP and the DA products, right? We also have the new entire discipline Agile product line. So how we see it is this product is specific for somebody who is not really transitioned to the Agile side of projects yet. The organization is transitioning, you are transitioning from a waterfall to Agile, and this is the intermediary step. Your organization is not transformed, you have not transitioned. So this is where you play, like in a hybrid project management skill set. So if your organization is there, if you want to showcase your hybrid project management skill set, go ahead and take this micro credentials. But ACP, again, is a much higher robust credential. So that is a certification product. But what we mean by that is it's a 4-hour exam. This is a much lower scale micro credential product, which we're saying that you are continuously upskilling yourself. So these are the primary differences. And George, I think you asked a question in terms of requirements. For ACP, you have to showcase that you are currently playing, you are in the Agile space, right? You have I think there's a 3-year minimum requirement that you have Agile experience, and then you can go ahead and take the ACP exam. For Agile Hybrid, we also want to encourage newcomers in the industry to experience what Agile and Hybrid is. So for that reason, we don't have any sort of requirements for the micro credential products.
That's great. So it sounds to me like the Agile Hybrid is a good certification to put you in a good space to do the ACP, because the ACP requires knowledge or the ability to demonstrate your Agile experience.
Yeah, I would say if you're completely in Agile, then go for the ACP, go for discipline Agile products. Those are meant for you. But if you're not completely into Agile, from our research, we do find that not a lot of organizations are still completely Agile. They're still in waterfall and
Sure.
hybrid. So if you're in that
Great.
space, then go for HPP.
Okay. Okay. Great. And then and then what's the relationship to discipline agile? Is it still sort of like use this as an intermediary, and then if you want to focus on agile, then you go to DA? Is that how we should look at it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. And then there's a question about content. The question says you've explained about the requirements. How about the content?
I guess I need a little bit more understanding about the question. The content we kind of showed in the course itself, that the content itself is embedded in the e-learning experience. So all of the content modules explain, what technique, what principle are you learning about? And then it goes through the scenarios as I described and the tasks and objectives that you're learning, but the content, but obviously it's all study prep that's inside that e-learning experience. So that's the content that you would study and learn and then take the exam afterwards.
Yeah, just to add to Samantha, and I'm sorry if you can hear my baby crying. So we have structured the exams based on what we've researched and found out is essential to test a project manager on. So the course is very reflective of the same. We'll have different tasks. We will be testing you in the exam. The course teaches you on all the same portions in terms of what Samantha just mentioned.
Okay. Just again, a reminder, if you have questions, put them in the chat. Wambui, I hope your question has been answered. If it hasn't been answered, feel free to unmute and maybe just explain the question if your question has not been answered. Okay, Wambui said it's cleared. Okay, that's fantastic. Let me see if I have another question. How long? Okay, I think you may have covered it, but in terms of how long it takes, are you seeing that people are doing it within the prescribed period of time, or is it sort of like it varies depending on the individual?
I guess when we tested during our beta testing, we did find that, like I said, if you want to speed read and go through this, if you're just prepping in some way to just be able to brush up on Agile Hybrid and just whiz through the course, 6.5 hours. 12 hours, again, gives you more of immersive time in it, but you can take as much time as you need to take that course, engage with it, use the principles, go back and forth. Take some of that into your workplace because obviously it's very relevant to be able to help you learn those things and skills. And again, you have that course available infinitely. Even after you've taken the exam, it's available to you in our learning platform for as long as we have that course available. Until we retire it or update it, it's there and available for you to use. So I think it's a very great tool for people to go back and forth in. You learn something, but maybe you want to go back to it and brush up. And again, the exam's there, as we told, it's easy for you to be able to take. You don't have to schedule, don't have to go to a center, take it when you want to take it. But again, if you need more time to take the exam, immerse yourself more in the content. So again, it's up to the individual learner how long they want to engage in that content to be able to wait before they want to take the exam. So it's there and available for them.
That's great. That's great. And Ranjit, I see you've put in there the link to the site as well as the discount code. So everybody on this call, if you want the discount, copy the discount code in the chat. It's available for a limited time. So you want to grab it now and use it now, basically. Right. Any other questions before we round up?
I'm just going to drop my email and Samantha's email in the chat. If you guys have any further questions, feel free to reach out to us and we can just respond to your questions via email as well.
Sure. And just so everybody knows, the Africa team will also be launching an initiative based on Agile, where we are combining the Agile hybrid with DA in the sense of, you know, offering you the multiple options. So look out for that. The pricing is going to be the same. It's just for those of you who are interested in taking this and Discipline Agile, you know, want to make sure that I'm flagging it for you so that you can get ready for it. So if there are no other questions, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for attending. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the questions. Ranjit has posted his email address there, microcredentials@pmi.org. So everyone have a wonderful day. Thanks for making the time, and see you next time. Ciao.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.